Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Azim Digital Asks podcast. Today on this episode, my guest is the awesome Hannah Butcher. We have a great conversation about her journey into the industry, how she came to start her company Belong Digital, and how she got into mentoring as well. Really hope you'll enjoy this episode just as much as we did when we recorded it. Hello Hannah, thank you very much for joining me today on the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You are more than welcome. Right, so we're going to start off with a bit of a strange question before you introduce yourself. I want you to share with the listeners what is the most embarrassing fashion trend that you used to rock.
Well, I have some photos of when I was really little, and my mum said that I used to wear like winter jumpers, like stripy winter jumpers with summer skirts with like teddy bears. Um, and yeah, I used to just match those together and thought I was really cool.
Awesome. Now that you've said that, you're definitely going to have to share a photo so that we can release it when I put the
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
out.
I know where it is. I'll find it.
Awesome. So, would you like to give our listeners a little bit of an introduction to yourself?
Of course, yeah. So I'm Hannah, and I've been working for myself now. So I'm self-employed. So it's coming on about a month and a half. Prior to that, I've got 11 years of marketing experience behind me, mostly agency side, but also some in-house work as well. And that's what I was doing before I was let go from my job at the beginning of COVID. So I was working in a travel company, which obviously was hit really hard when COVID sort of became more prevalent. So yeah, I just thought, what can I do? I went freelance for a little bit and thought, no, I'm going to start my own business. But in the past, I've kind of specialised in digital PR. And sort of blogger outreach and content strategy, but I've also done everything across the board, so everything from like social media and technical SEO as well.
So, you've definitely had to wear a lot of hats, it seems. Let's go back to the very beginning. When did you realize that marketing was going to be the career for you?
I'd love to say that it was a strategy, but in the end, I just I just fell into it like a lot of people do in this industry. So I graduated from university with a journalism degree, and I had a tutor in my last year who said, "You probably want to have like a plan D when it comes to your career." So at first I thought, yeah, I'll be like a journalist and I'll be doing really exciting features. And after applying for about 100 jobs, I finally got an interview for a large media agency for a PPC role. Went to that session and they basically said, no, you're not good for PPC, but we do have a copywriting role in our SEO team that you might be interested in. So, really, it was just luck that I ended up working in the industry, and from that copywriting role, basically learned everything that kind of led to this point today.
Ah, so they definitely must have seen something in you. Maybe if they felt that you weren't right for PPC, then definitely must have seen some talent in you to ask you to be one of their copywriters. Let's go back even further then. So let's pretend that right now you could go back to when you very first began in the industry. What advice would you give yourself if you knew then what you know now?
I think it would just be to be a little bit more tenacious and to question everything a little bit more. So I think when I started out, I was obviously very keen to sort of progress and move into new roles and get more salary and change my job title. But really now that doesn't matter so much to me. And I would actually prefer to like build my knowledge base and to just kind of be respected for what I do rather than just trying to go for the sort of soft side of the glory. And obviously, when you
Yeah.
start out, I mean, my salary was pittance when I first started, so it was quite
Yeah.
important back then to sort of earn more money. But yeah, for me now, it's more just to like really own what I'm doing and just to be authoritative on it and just not really take any nonsense from clients or people in the industry who are disrespecting you for sort of reasons that aren't valid.
Awesome. Let's talk about inspiration then. Who has been a big inspiration for you in the industry?
So for me, I've worked with quite a lot of inspirational people, but I have particular admiration for one of my old line managers when I was working at White.net, and that was Charlie Williams. So Charlie, who I worked with there, then went on to Screaming Frog, and now he's doing his own thing at Chopped. But he was the person who really made me have a drive to learn more about SEO.
Yeah.
And he kind of put the fire behind me, and he would give me like a technical audit to do and say, go and do it, you need to learn how to do it. So he wouldn't give me that support until I'd already like done the thing, and then he'd give me the constructive feedback on how to improve it. And I don't think without him that really I would have kind of got to that point. So he really pushed me. And also watching him do a presentation at the Content Marketing Show, I thought, if Charlie can do it, I can do it too. So from Charlie doing that talk, I then did one the following year, and since then I've done quite a lot of conference talks as well. So he's obviously inspired me in a few ways, obviously with the technical SEO side and also public speaking as well.
I can imagine it must have been such a challenge to get given a piece of work and then be like, right, off you go and do it, and then come back to get some feedback.
Yeah, it's always the fear, like how badly wrong have I got it? But actually, like when you tried it, like it was always this bit's really good, but this is probably where you need a bit more knowledge and learn in this area. So yeah, it was really constructive and positive. He wasn't too scary.
Good stuff. So speaking of challenges then, what's the biggest challenge that you've got with your role right now and how are you overcoming it?
Well, as a new business owner, my biggest challenge is learning everything that comes with having your own business and being a director of that business. So it's things that I would have never have kind of looked at before, in terms of like payroll, all of the taxes, and just all of the dates and submission dates that you need to know and be aware of. So I've got that I'm learning about, but also doing, as most business owners do, 100 and other one things at the same time. So
Yeah.
I've got mentoring, so I'm taking on new mentoring clients at the moment, and I've also got some free ones that I'm doing with women in tech SEO, and obviously I've got my regular clients as well. So it's a mix of all of those things, but just trying to give myself enough admin time is probably the biggest challenge, and just setting some like time aside each week just to make sure I get all of those important bits done as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every so often I jump onto Twitter and I see that you're doing something else, and I often just look and think, when does she sleep? Because she must be doing so many different things. Fair play. I couldn't do
I
it.
do sleep very well, actually. By the time I go to bed, I'm very much ready to go to bed. So I do try and have a good work-life balance. I just try and make as much efficiencies as I can during the daytime.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you started your own business and you mentioned that COVID-19 had an impact. How much of an impact did COVID have on you and how did you respond?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, obviously, it was quite a big one. So I'd just come back from holiday in Rome, right as Italy went into their full lockdown. So I was already kind of in panic stations because we almost got stuck in Rome, and our daughter was at home with her grandparents in the UK. So we managed to get one of the last flights out of Rome before full lockdown took place
Yeah.
in Italy. And then when I got back, I then found out about my job as well. So kind of everything was thrown up into the air. It was just a big period of uncertainty and not knowing how long everything was going to be going on for, really. And at first I did find that quite stressful, but actually I kind of got into a bit of a rhythm throughout the last few months, and I've kind of taken it in my stride, and I've turned around what would have been quite a negative situation, and just put my energies into sort of building for the future. And I can't really control what's happening now, but I can certainly put into place the sort of building blocks to build a really great business for when things do start picking up a bit. And I think it's already starting to be a little bit more clear. I think more people are starting to go back to their jobs from furlough, and I'm certainly getting a lot less like out of office responses for some of the digital PR outreach I'm doing as well. So there are
Yeah.
signs that things are picking up. So I'm hoping that that works in my favor over the next few months as well.
I mean, previous guests on the show have talked about, things that have happened and how COVID has affected them and things that they've failed at. So equally for yourself, What would you say, let's say in the last 12 months, what would you say has been the biggest failure for you, and why do you think that's happened?
Yeah, so for me, I was obviously quite devastated to lose my job.
Yeah,
Because I've sort of built my career up to a place where I've been quite confident about my abilities and what I can bring to a business. So obviously that was quite hard, and just not having that financial stability and not knowing whether I'd be able to find a different role or be able to pick up freelance clients. So for me, I felt like at the time it was a failure, but now I'm kind of seeing it as a blessing in disguise, that it's given me the permission to go off and do my own thing, which I'm not sure I would have done otherwise, even though I probably should have done it a long time ago.
yeah, everything that I've seen online, you seem to be doing really well. You seem to have bounced back really well. So hopefully that continues, and I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Speaking of things that I've seen online, I saw recently that you decided to become a mentor in digital marketing. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So it started with just the offer to one person, to give them a bit of a motivational session, because I knew of someone who was kind of struggling a little bit in their day to day job and just not feeling very confident about their abilities. Whereas from what I could see was that they were amazing at their job, and maybe they just needed, a little bit of a conversation with someone to put them back on track. So really, it started there, and from there, it ended up spiraling into this like wonderful thing, where there was no plan there at all, to do mentoring. I was just I'd basically done a counselling skills diploma earlier this year, just with my local college, and I realised that a lot of those things that I'd learned during that diploma were very transferable to a mentoring relationship as well. So all about just listening and support and not judging someone. All of those factors became, really valuable, and I was able to have these conversations with people where actually they were opening up about problems in the workplace or in their home lives, and I was just there as someone to listen and not judge, and just provide feedback on what I heard they were saying, and just asking the right questions to kind of get the whole story, and to sort of change their mindset, so they could move forward from those issues. So I've seen some amazing outcomes. I've mentored over 20 women for free, just over the last like 3.5 months, which
Wow.
has been amazing. So many different stories, but also so many similar themes as well across the board, with people just worrying about, whether they're able to do their jobs properly, whether they're going to maybe lose them due to what's happening in the economy, just worries about that really, and just a lot of imposter syndrome, and worrying about whether they're doing everything to the best of their abilities, and what should they be learning, and everyone else is better than them. So there's always those kind of themes across the board, and part of what I do is just helping people to sort of see their potential and sort of believe in their own potential as well. So it's a nice gift to have, and there's certainly a mutual benefit, because it makes me feel great, and hopefully it's giving benefit to other people as well. So I've got a week of mentoring this week, and I'm also leading the Women in Tech SEO mentoring training session for all of the new mentors. So it's going to be recorded. So over 200 people are going to be having a bit of my mentoring training as
Wow.
well. So it's quite intimidating. So I'm hoping it goes well. But yeah, it's really great to be able to give back something to the community by doing that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Best of luck with that. Sounds really interesting. I just wanted to ask you then, why do you think that being a mentor is important? What are the benefits for you?
So, as a mentor, the benefits for me are just knowing that, I don't know, I feel very protective about quite a lot of people in the industry who, it's almost like the mum figure. Um, but I mean, some of the people I'm mentoring are sort of older than me or have more experience than me, but it doesn't mean that I'm not able to sort of just look after people in the way that I can. So, it's not giving people, you know, unsolicited advice. It's just helping people to see their potential, because I think like if you see people flourish, it's only a good thing for the industry overall. And ultimately, I don't see these people as like competitors to me. I just see them as other people who could be doing really great things. And just, yeah, so I think for me it's just that positive feeling that you get. But as a mentee, I mean, I wish I had a mentor earlier on in my career, because it would have just sort of helped you stay on the right track, and
Yeah,
just think about your career path a little bit more, and just, yeah, just follow that. Because I mean, I went off in little tangents here and there sometimes, and went in-house and did a little bit of like offline marketing, and it didn't give me any sort of rewards or anything like that. So just helping me to kind of see what I was good at and to follow that path.
yeah, definitely sounds interesting. Why do you think then that more people should become mentors?
So, I mean, I would love to mentor every single person if I could, but unfortunately, there's only so much time in the day, as we've said. So, I just think, and every mentoring partnership is going to be different as well. So, depending on someone's style and approach and their values and ethos, I mean, you're not going to have that same match with everyone. So, by having more people become mentors, it means that there'd be more good mentoring matches out there, and also people who just would be a little bit more empathetic to certain scenarios. So for those working in house, for example, if more mentors who are working in house would have more experience and understand potentially what people are going through in those circumstances. So it's just having that understanding of someone and being able to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And then one thing I was thinking of, which I wanted to ask you, let's say there was somebody who was really against either becoming a mentor or being a mentee, really against it, didn't see any value in either side of it. What would you say to them? How would you change their mind?
I think some people probably are, able to kind of go on as much as they can in their little independent silo, and I don't think that you could probably force anyone to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
certainly, I think most people will at some point will have inadvertently been either a mentor or a mentee by just being in their job role, because most managers or line managers will be effectively mentoring the people on their team. So the certification that I'm doing at the moment is effective coaching and mentoring at a management level. So
yeah,
most managers are going to be giving one-to-ones with their staff and trying to help them and guide them and develop them so they sort of move up in the organization. So most people will have done mentoring, whether they like to call it that or not. But maybe there are people out there that wouldn't want to be a mentee because they don't like that label. But again, it's likely that they would have received some sort of mentorship from someone anyway. So I think if you can kind of explain to someone that actually they've already had that sort of helping relationship in the past, then they might see it a little bit differently. I think it's just the label. Sometimes people get a little bit kind of bogged down in those details. But I mean, from me, I can't see any sort of negative reason why you wouldn't want to be in a mentoring relationship.
yeah. Couldn't agree more. Brilliant answer. I think the recognition that you might need a bit of support is really, really useful because I think you said it yourself earlier. Not everybody has all of the answers, and just to have somebody there just to run things by and have that relationship with is brilliant. So yeah, thanks very much for sharing that. Last couple of questions from me then. One question that I'm asking everybody on the show. I'll probably end up making a playlist, but when you need maximum productivity, what are you listening to? What is in your ears? What's your favorite or your go-to song, artist, playlist?
This is the hardest question so far because it really depends on the day. I'm sure everyone says the same, but anything that's heavy is just gonna get me in the mood to get things done. So at the moment, probably Slipknot, um, Bring Me the Horizon, something like that. Anything upbeat and heavy.
This is really interesting because I've had a few guests on now, and pretty much in every episode, they always mention something heavy. I think that I'm the only marketer that listens to like classical piano music or music for concentration on Spotify, just something simple that I can like listen and just crack on. Everybody else is like, yeah, bit of Kanye West, bit of Slipknot. I'm like, what? You guys must just be at your desks rocking out constantly.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, I have actually tried the classical music, and I don't mind it for a little bit if I'm just like doing some spreadsheets or something, but usually I kind of get to the point where it makes me a little bit sleepy, so I have to turn on something loud.
So for me, yeah, Slipknot in the gym. That's it, 100%. That's where I'll go. But yeah, like you said, if I'm in a spreadsheet, I just need something simple. Anything with lyrics, I will automatically try and sing along to, and then just completely butcher the song, basically. So yeah, unfortunately, we're at the end now, which is a shame. Really enjoyed talking to you. If people want to find out more about you, your business, or get in touch, or would like to learn more about your mentorship, how would they get in touch?
The easiest place is on Twitter, and my handle is Hannah F Butcher. But people can also have a look at my website, which is belong-digital.co.uk.
Thank you very much for your time today, Hannah. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been great fun.
So that was another great episode in the bag. I'm really enjoying hearing from some of the top names in this industry, and I hope that you are too. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, like, share and subscribe. You can find out more about the podcast on the Twitter page at AzimDigiAsks, all one word, and also on my website, which is iamazimdigital.com. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, you can get in touch with me via my website. And that's it from me. Looking forward to the next episode already. Take care.